Hey everybody, is the One Kit Wonder nu metal library from Get Good Drums a perfect drum kit library to have in your arsenal? Yep, and I'm going to tell you why. My name's CK, this is my review of the nu metal drum kit library, so let's get into it. The latest drum library from Get Good Drums is called the One Kit Wonder Nu Metal Kit. Pretty much getting a very baked product out of the box, meaning that it's a drum sample library that is processed and literally ready to go. I do own actually every Get Good drum kit, and as far as all the rest of the kits go, as I'm concerned, this one was a leap and a bound ahead of all the other One Kit Wonders as far as like super ready to go out of the box, meaning I didn't have to touch the mixer hardly at all as far as to get the results that I was hoping for. Out of the box, this was the most impressive kit that I came across. When you're looking for a drum library to use, and especially me being an E-kit player, what's the criteria that you're looking for to, in my instance, rank it as a perfect kit? Well, first of all, the samples have to be outstanding. The samples have to be incredible, and we all want very good sounding samples. Nolly himself even said that this is possibly his favorite drum library that they've released.
And I have to say, I think this might just be my favorite drum library we've ever put out.
And so there you have it. Not only is it from the creator's mouth, possibly his favorite kit, I don't think that's a sales tactic. I truly believe, just from my own personal experience using the kit, that this is also one of their best pieces of work that they put out there. And that's also including larger kits that they have, like the Invasion Matt Halpern kits that have multiple kick drums and snare drums. And obviously those come in a much larger size and variety of sounds that you can achieve. But that's the whole point of these One Kit Wonders, is right out of the box, boom, let's get tracking. For $65, I think that this is a steal, because this is an extremely versatile kit. I know that it comes with the tag nu metal. The way that I look at it is you have to name your product eventually. You have to name it something. And they've given every drum kit a name. And so nu metal was obviously another genre that they haven't made a kit for yet. But I kind of don't like that they used nu metal for the title of this kit, because I do not think that it falls under that genre at all. Even though Nolly expresses that it is falling more under the current modern nu metal.
Now, when I'm thinking about this kind of modern nu metal resurgence, I'm thinking about newer bands like Spirit Box, The Plotted New.
But when I hear nu metal as a 41-year-old, I think of Linkin Park, Korn, Limp Bizkit. As far as drum kits go, I don't think that this kit falls into that category. What makes those nu metal kits stand out in my mind as nu metal is a really tight, cracking, tuned up snare. Kind of a dead kick drum with not a lot of low end to it. And then just very bright cymbals that cut through. And I feel like everything that this drum kit is bringing to the table probably falls a little bit more in line with what Nolly's talking about as far as like modern nu metal. Either way, I think the kit sounds absolutely gorgeous. So back to the requirements that are helping me give this a rating of a perfect kit for you to have. The samples are super high quality. In fact, I found a little bit of a glitch with this drum kit that I'll cover in just a few minutes regarding this drum kit. There is a workaround for it, but I found it kind of interesting, and I wonder if it's because the samples are so large. I, in fact, had to throw my DAW into this setup right here with my buffer size being as large as possible, as well as my process buffer range to be as large as possible. So that way I could actually work with this drum kit. It's requiring quite a bit of computer power. And thankfully with these kits, with all the Get Good kits, they are aware that some of their kits are pretty intense as far as like the CPU drain that it's taking. So thankfully with Get Good, they give you the option to be able to like downgrade how high quality the samples are. It shouldn't really matter that much when it comes from the difference from tracking to mixing, as long as you're getting the part that you want recorded. Like I said, besides this one quirk, yeah, I think that everything blends incredibly well together. The instrument choices that they have for this kit, these crashes and ride and China, they all sound so freaking good, as well as obviously the snare. I don't need to point out each individual thing. The kit just sounds amazing. And then, of course, something else that we're all looking for is a pretty easy user interface. And as all the Get Good Drum kits, especially these one kit wonders, you've got your mixer ready to go right down here, which is super nice. And let me show you a quick little trick that I actually learned from Nolly. Like when you're mapping, like if you're an E-kit player like I am, which is another thing that is always a part of the criteria when I'm looking for a drum library to use, is making sure that it can be mapped with an E-kit, which I don't think any companies out there nowadays would release a product that you can't map to your own electronic drum kit. But in this instance, my first time using this kit was for my latest video drum cover, which is the song Thriller for Fall Out Boy. One of the things that they have that Andy uses during the tracking of that song is a cross stick during one of the verses, I think the second verse. And the problem I've had with drum library kits is, especially the one kit wonders, that cross stick has always been so quiet when I'm using it in my mix. I usually have to like solo out just the snare track and kind of duplicate the cross stick so I can have that as an individual track. Because the thing about when you use a cross stick, you don't have a cross stick option to isolate and increase the volume with these one kit wonders. So if I was to boost up the snare volume, obviously the snare is going to increase in volume as well as the cross stick, but you don't need the snare that blasting loud. So I learned that inside of your settings, you can actually just click and drag individual parameters. So this cross stick, what I'm adjusting right now, is the volume of just the cross stick. So by me boosting it all the way up to 6, I don't know if that's decibels, I think it is, 6 decibel increase, now only the cross stick has been affected and not the entire snare drum. And you could do that with any of these instruments. So I actually think I did it for the cymbal choke here. I actually increased by 2.7 decibels, I believe. That is available inside of the settings of any Get Good Drum library. And as far as any other drum libraries from different manufacturers that I've played with, you can also adjust just individual volume parameters inside of the mapping settings section. So just a quick little tip for you guys if you're needing just one instrument to come up and you don't want the whole umbrella instrument like a ride cymbal or a snare drum to increase in volume, which is super sweet. And obviously something else that makes this a perfect kit is, like all these one kit wonders, they're very small in size, so you don't need a lot of extra storage to host this kit and then just get some amazing drum sounds. Which leads me to my next point of why I think this kit is so awesome. The Get Good team had sent out an email a couple years ago that was a survey asking about features that us who use these kits frequently would like to see. And I probably wasn't the only one, because the fact that this showed up in this drum kit now, finally, which was so great, was the side snare. Typically, what I would have to do if I wanted to use my side snare capability is kind of make a Frankenstein kit where I would load another instance of a Get Good Drum kit and then map that side snare to my overall finished kit. Having a side snare is awesome. I would highly encourage all of the digital drum library makers out there, start making that side snare available for us players, especially the E-kit players. We love it so much. The problem with some of these large kits, in my opinion, is they give you, anywhere between 2 and like 7 snare drums to choose from, sometimes more. Why can we not immediately just have that another snare sample that's available in that library available as a side snare? For any manufacturers that are making a very beautiful sounding drum kit and you're giving us all these snare drums for the main snare, please figure out a way to make those available as a side snare option. You're already putting all this work into these great big kits. Just make it available on the side snare as well too. Please, I'm just begging you. Okay, so let's get to this quirk. The only way that I can show you this example is if I bring my playhead to the start of my performance, and then if I hit play, and I'm obviously going to fast forward this video to this moment, but I have to let it play from the beginning to this section, and you're going to hear it. Instruments are just going to drop out. It's like all of a sudden you hear it. It's just like, oh, all of a sudden the sample is just gone, and then it just dies out, but then everything suddenly comes back in. And I learned about this because I was bouncing out the track, which I typically will bounce my mixes out to a mastering template. And I noticed when it got to this section, just sitting, and this is why you should always monitor your bounces, is because all of a sudden I was just like, wait, where did all the cymbals suddenly go? So I'm going to hit play. As you can see, my playhead's at the top, and we're going to get to this section, and then you're going to hear the issue that I'm having a problem with. And I'd like to point out, keep an eye on like the CPU usage up there at the top. That's quite a bit. And I'm sure that has something to do with it. All right, here it comes. And now everything's back to normal. And the thing is, that exact section, if I don't play it from the beginning and I just start there, while editing, I realized that I forgot a couple things to potentially add in this section that you're viewing right now. First of all, the specs of the computer that I'm working on to show that there's enough power that should be able to support the highest sample rate possible, which, as you could see here, it's a 2022 version of the Mac Studio, but it is the M1 Ultra. With 128 gigabytes of unified memory. And then here's some more specs about this model in particular. The M1 Ultra with a 20-core CPU, a 64-core GPU, and a 32-core neural engine. Those of you who probably know are aware that that's probably more than enough power. So I ran the experiment again just now to try a couple other things. So I did confirm that my Contact player, well, it's not Contact player, I'm actually on the full version of Contact, and that is up to date. I confirmed that the Gitka drum library doesn't need an update, which it doesn't. I opened up the project again and I ran the playhead from the front of the song to that section at high CPU scaling, and I got the weird cutout problem again. And just to reiterate, I am running things at the highest possible buffering. Obviously, when you set your settings to this inside your DAW, it's not ideal for tracking. So if I was to try to record, I would need to lower those settings to prevent latency. And so we are at the most optimal settings for mixing possible. And like I stated, on a pretty beefy computer. Now, here's the thing. I guess I hadn't tried this before. I dropped the CPU scaling down to medium grade, started the track up at the front, and as soon as I got to that section, no choppiness at all. It played completely through. I did it on low as well. I didn't screen capture that one, but I figured if it played well on medium, it would do fine on low, but it also did. So it is just on the high CPU scaling. So please let me know in the comments, is my computer not capable of handling the high CPU scaling at these settings with inside Logic Pro, because I know that I work with other virtual instruments, some string libraries that I believe are a lot more intense as far as like the power that they require to operate. And I'll even run those as a stack within Contact sometimes. And I don't get any of the digital artifacting or errors like I'm experiencing with Gitco drums. So clearly there's an issue somewhere. If it is on my end, I would love to know how to fix it. If it's not, and if anyone else is experiencing problems with this, please chime in the comments, because yeah, it is frustrating and I would like to get it fixed. Anyway, back to the initial edit. And no, I don't want to decrease my CPU scaling here at all. I'd rather have the highest full sample rate possible. So get good if you have any suggestions why that's happening, and if there's any sort of fix that can be done on the back end to prevent that from happening, that would be awesome, because obviously it's more time consuming and frustrating, especially if some of you are working an extremely long song and you're, 3 to 4 or 7 minutes into a bounce and all of a sudden the samples just cut out like that. That's really frustrating. I didn't know any other solution to fix that than just bouncing 2 separate regions and splicing them down the road. So I guess the point being is that quirk is annoying, but there is a workaround, and I'm willing to do that workaround for how good this kit sounds straight out of the box. Is this still a perfect kit? I guess with that quirk, it's probably kind of like I rated the TD27 just recently. It's a 9.5 out of 10, which I guess it's not perfect, but is it very, very, very good? Yep, it sure is. Besides some sample droppage, which, yeah, I guess needs to be looked at. Before I started this video, I was coming in swinging a 10 out of 10 for this drum kit, but that is an issue. That's something that needs to be addressed. Obviously, with that CPU usage that's being pulled while the drum kit is playing, tells me that those are some really, really beefy samples, and they obviously didn't want to sacrifice the quality of them by compressing them too much. So that way we as the user have a really, really professionally awesome sounding drum kit ready to go. That's my review of the One Kit Wonder new metal drum kit from Get Good Drums. I love this kit. Yes, I'm definitely going to use this kit going forward. My name's CK. Arcane Arrow is my music project. If you would consider giving this video a like or dropping a comment if this was helpful in any way, or if you just want to start up a conversation about anything regarding drums, E-kits, happy to do it. I know it's a little bit on the lengthier side, so if you did stick around, thanks. And yeah, I guess I'll just catch you all in the next video. Take it easy.